Hello, how is everyone doing on this lovely evening? It's TVB, and my apologies. I've been putting this video off as I explained my poll that I did last night on my community tab. This is gonna be the conclusion to like the mini series of like top 9 and top 5 videos that I started this past January. Man, I can't believe it's already February. Like yesterday was Groundhog Day, and we're officially a month into like 2024. Like January this year kind of just flew by, and late January is kind of just like a bittersweet time of the year for me. It's when like memories just hit me more than usual. Like this past this past Tuesday actually, it marked a year since I left Nebraska after my internship there ended last year. That was there for 12 weeks. Man, it's just where'd the time go? But anyways, like I said, this is the conclusion to like the top 9 videos I've been doing. This is not going to be like a ranked video from like, hey, these are the games I want to like play the least and the games I want to play the most. This is just like 9 games that I like have not played but would like to, and I asked you guys for like suggestions. I did a poll about like what types of videos I should end my top 9 week on that are not like so movie themed, and most of you guys voted for gaming themed videos. That's why I did like my top 9 favorite games of all time video like a few weeks ago. And I was asking like my friends like, hey, what should I make my last like the conclusion to this week on? And my guy Daily Reacts TV, he gave me the idea like, hey, you should do like a list video of like games you have not played but would like to, because he's currently doing a replay of The Last of Us on his gaming channel. And I was like, yeah, there are quite a few games that I have not played but would like to play. So like, and yeah, Daily, thanks for being such a great friend, and thanks for support my channel, and and keep up the great work on both your channels, both your like your main channel with movie reviews and reactions, and like your gaming channel. And kicking off the list is 2 PlayStation exclusives. Speaking of Daily Reacts TV and his replay of The Last of Us, I have The Last of Us and God of War 2018. I have never played I've never had a PlayStation. And I hate the console war. I really do. I've only ever had Xboxes and like Nintendo consoles. And like and I probably like, because growing up, my sister got me hooked on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance when we were kids, and we got a Wii together. And then like when middle school rolled around, like all my like friends were playing like shooting games like Call of Duty on the Xbox 360. If all my friends at the time had PS3s, I'd probably have a PS4 or PS5 by now. But lo and behold, they all had 360s, therefore I got an Xbox 360 for Christmas, like, in middle school, and I got the Xbox One. I've just been like an Xbox gamer, like, ever since. Like I said, I think the console war is really stupid. I think, like, at the end of the day, we're all just brothers and sisters, like, to play games. Like, I'm so sick of all this, like, fighting between, like, oh, which console is better? Like, oh, PlayStation's better. No, Xbox is better. No, the PC master race. Like, you guys are console peasants. It's like, well, no crap, your PC runs better than our consoles, because you spent, like, over $1,000 on that thing. And Nintendo is like, oh, Nintendo's for little girls. It's like, no, it isn't. There's plenty of adult gamers who have a Switch. Like, yeah, but I can understand like where PlayStation fans are coming from though, because PlayStation has a lot of exclusives. Like I said, if I had a PlayStation, I would totally play The Last of Us and God of War 2018, because like honestly, I'm sticking this list to just like one game per franchise. God of War is like, it's so interesting. Like Kratos, he's fighting like other Greek gods and monsters. In the later games, this franchise have him facing like going to Scandinavia with his son to fight like various like gods and monsters from Norse mythology. I've heard that the God of War franchise is known for being like super violent, super brutal, just like Kratos just like slicing dudes up both with his weapons and with his hands, just ripping dudes' heads off. But I've been told that in the 2018 version, it's the 8th installment in the God of War franchise, he has a son now, and the huge theme is like father and son dynamics, which I find really interesting. I've been told by God of War fans that he's like a solid example of like positive masculinity, like versus the toxic masculinity. Like, yeah, he's very buff and macho and strong, but he only fights when provoked, and he's a very like good leader and father figure to his son. And The Last of Us, also, I've been a huge like fan of like Greek mythology and Norse mythology for years. I've always loved like studying various myths and legends and folklore and cryptozoology from like all around the world. So yeah, it's always piqued my interest. But The Last of Us, though, I've watched quite a few Let's Plays for The Last of Us over the years. I don't have HBO Max, or should I just say Max? But so I haven't watched a TV show that was, oh my gosh, I can't speak. That were adapted from the games, but I've watched the Let's Plays for The Last of Us over the years, and it's such an engaging story. Like, zombie games are nothing new. They haven't been new even back in 2013 when The Last of Us was first released. But the story, like, between Joel, like, oh my gosh, every time I watch, like, you know, Daily Reacts, he did the first episode when Joel loses his daughter Sarah, like at the start, like, it's a tearjerker every time I watch like that cutscene. And just like the whole world to me is just really fascinating. Like I said, the apocalypse settings are nothing new, but it's just like a fungus causing like people to, you know, become zombies. There needs to be, I really think Naughty Dog should make like a prequel game set because obviously, like, you know, you all know how The Last of Us starts, where like Joel and, you know, Tommy and, you know, Sarah, they try to escape the city, but Sarah dies, and there's like a 20-year jump between that when he meets Ellie, you know, the girl that he smuggles. Like, there needs to be a game set before, like, in between those two events, like before he met Ellie and after he lost Sarah, and how Joel became like the scavenger that we now know him as, and make it open world. Like, this world just feels so big and grandiose that I would love to just like explore it some more. And of course, the story is absolutely phenomenal. Like, yeah, I've watched Let's Plays for The Last of Us Part 2 as well, which I've heard, like, I know there's a lot of, like, split opinions on that. But, you know, I watched Rad Brad's Let's Play for it, and, you know, I thought the story was pretty good, too. But anyways, another game I would like to play but have not is Far Cry 3. You know, if you guys watch my video of my top 9 favorite games of all time, you probably know that Far Cry 4 was on that list. It was me watching Let's Plays for Far Cry 3 that inspired me to buy Far Cry 4, because I had friends that were buying it too, and I was like, oh man, like, Far Cry 3 is such a really interesting story, and the way it combines, like, first-person shooter with open world. I watched Let's Plays for it, but I've never played Far Cry 3 myself. Like, I've only watched Let's Plays for it, which I feel like that's a kind of a disgrace, because, you know, like, Far Cry games used to be like a huge part of my channel. Like, I did Let's Play Far Cry 4, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry 5, New Dawn, and I started Far Cry 6, and I just could never really get into Far Cry 6. But Far Cry 3, I've heard not so great things about the first two Far Cry games. But, like, Far Cry 3 is, like, the game that sort of, like, revolutionized that franchise. Like, Vas Montenegro, the definition of insanity scene, oh my goodness, like, I cannot sleep if I rewatch that scene. Like, you know, he's such a good villain. Like, arguably one of the best video game villains of all time. The story is really engaging, and how, like, you play as Grant, and, like, you have to make these decisions. So many decisions between his girlfriend or Cetra at the end. Oh, that scene is, like, oh, it's so tempting. Like, you don't know what's right and what's wrong. Excuse me. And, you know, and it's just, like, the way it emphasizes, like, exploring and clearing outposts and radio towers, and there's, like, hunting, there's a lot of wild, dangerous animals. Like, Far Cry 3, you know, before Far Cry 4, which took place in India, Far Cry 3 had, like, tigers and bears and, like, Komodo dragons and, like, crocodiles and bull sharks and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I've never, and Far Cry is, like, 3 is, like, Blood Dragon. I've heard, like, absolutely amazing things, like, about Blood Dragon. That's a game I'd like to play as well, that I have not done so already. Just like Pokemon Sword and Shield, like, I have a Switch. I've had a Switch for over, like, 2 years now, and I still have not played Sword or Shield, because I took the initiative, you know, I've talked about this in previous videos, and I'll say it again here. My friend Monique gave me my Switch after her sister passed away. Elise, may she rest in peace. And I got that Switch, like, right before Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was released. I've been a diehard Pokemon fan ever since, like, I was a very little kid. I just never really, obviously I just didn't really feel like spending that kind of money on a Switch to play Sword or Shield when they made the whole Switch from 3DS to the Switch. And yeah, Sword and Shield, the Galar region is just, I've heard mixed things about it overall, but still, as like a long-time Pokemon fan, because Pokemon is my favorite gaming franchise of all time, and I still haven't, like, played Sword or Shield. I feel like I'm kind of a disgrace there as well. And I also haven't played Modern Warfare 2. Like, I've never owned a copy of Modern Warfare 2. I've played, like, a little bit of it at, like, friends' houses, like, when I was a kid, like, when I was a preteen. like I've seen like my friends play it and I know about the story. It's just like when I first got my Xbox 360, the first game I got for it was Modern Warfare 3, and I played the heck out of the campaign. And I've played Modern Warfare 1's remastered campaign when it was remastered back in 2016. I played the reboot, Modern Warfare 2019's campaign, but I have never played like Modern Warfare 2's campaign. And I know the campaign itself has been remastered. I even back in 2020, I even told you guys I would make a Let's Play of me playing Modern Warfare 2's campaign, but I never got around to doing it. I really need to be better at keep my promises that I make on this channel, and I need to apologize to you all about that. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2's campaign was just like, it seemed really interesting. And also like Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer is what I've heard many Call of Duty fans. I haven't played Call of Duty in freaking ages. Not because I lost interest in shooting games, I just like haven't like really saved the time for it. And also like the updates are just so heavy with the terabytes and everything. Just the memory, just oh my goodness. Or I shouldn't say terabytes, I should probably just say gigabytes. But yeah, like Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer was like it had like I've been told it has like great maps, great kill streaks, great like weapons, just great everything. And also gotta love Captain Price. And I also would like to play Kingdom Rush Vengeance. If you watched my my top 9 favorite games video I made, I gave the first Kingdom Rush an honorable mention. I played Kingdom Rush and its sequel, Kingdom Rush Frontiers, on ArmorGames.com way back in middle school and high school. But like that was before they like just fully made the switch from like being on like online flash games to like just being like mobile and on Steam. And I've watched like playthroughs of Kingdom Rush Vengeance and Kingdom Rush Origins, and I was really into strategy games, especially fantasy strategy games as a teenager, because me being an aspiring fantasy writer myself, like I have Kingdom Rush and other like fantasy games like Skyrim and various Pokemon games, and of course like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Avatar: Last Airbender. Like I wouldn't be like the person I am today without those fantasy works, I guess. Like, because I've always wanted to pursue a career in like creative writing, and Kingdom Rush, because I love the world and I love the fantasy and I love all the different like towers and the enemies that you face. And I watched a playthrough for Kingdom Rush Vengeance, and it's like, hey, you play as Veznon, the evil dark wizard. In the first game, the roles are reversed. This time, you're the bad guy, and you have to like reconquer Lenaria, the world with the orcs and the goblins and the shadow archers and all different like dark wizards and demons. And it's just like, ooh, I feel so malicious just playing this, just like, mwahaha, I'm the evil supervillain. It looks excellent. And I also would really love to play Planet Zoo. I got pretty excited when I found out that this is coming to consoles, finally, after being on the PC for so long. I grew up playing Zoo Tycoon with my sister and my friends, and I know that Planet Zoo and Zoo Tycoon are two very different, even though they're both like zoo business like simulators. It's like, they're very different games. Like Zoo Tycoon lets you throw little girls in the crocodile exhibit, lets you have dinosaurs and unleash them onto the guests. But like, from what I've been told, Planet Zoo is a lot more like realistic and really emphasizes like the management aspect of the zoo. Because like I've always as well as being a fantasy writer, if anyone's been watching my videos for long, if you probably know my goal someday, like I'm an aspiring zookeeper. I've always wanted to have a career in the zoo field. Like I even had I had a job interview at a zoo the other day, so fingers crossed I get hired for it. But yeah, I've always wanted to like be a zookeeper or like be an educator at a zoo, one of those two. And so anything to do with like animals just really like catches my fancy, because animals have been like my lifelong passion ever since like preschool. And like I love Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo is a really great soundtrack too. Like I remember like at CSU I would do homework like video game soundtracks, and I would find like Planet Zoo like music on YouTube to listen to while like making flashcards and whatnot. And all the different selections of animals, the graphics, it's all just so cute. And I love to give this game a chance when it comes to consoles. I still don't have a Series X, and I would really like. I'm kind of like, it's not that I don't have the money to burn on a new Xbox. It's just at the moment I would rather save that kind of money for other things, if that makes any sense. Hence why I still haven't played Frontiers of Pandora. This game looks phenomenal, but of course it's only on next-gen consoles. I'm still not really there yet. I still just have an Xbox One. Like, I would love to play Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, because like the Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar is, I mean, I've made like a proper, I made like a 40+ minute review for this movie, but when it was remastered before Way of Water was released. The first Avatar is one of my favorite films of all time. Call me crazy for saying that. You can say it's overrated and that it's like, ripping off like Pocahontas and Ferngully and, Dance with Wolves. Like, hate me for that opinion all you want. I don't care. I love both Avatar films to absolute death. And like, Pandora is just such a fascinating world. Like, it really is Lord of the Rings caliber in terms of like world building and details with the Na'vi and all different cultures. I understand that Frontiers of Pandora, the RDA has returned to like Pandora to conquest it, and it's taking place in the Western Frontiers. If I'm not mistaken, it is open world, and there's all these different Pandora creatures and the Na'vi clans, and there's different weapons that you can use. It just looks so immersive. And when I do eventually get a Series X, which for all I know could be this year, we'll see how the next few months plays out, I guess. Again, like I said, I just don't feel right buying a new Xbox anytime like super soon. But we'll see. Yeah, I would love to, like, rest assured, like, Frontiers of Pandora is the first game I'm buying, and I don't care how late I'm to that party. And last but definitely not least, the last game I have not played but would like to is Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I mean, you guys probably saw that, like, Skyrim was in my top 5 favorite games of all time when I made that video a few weeks ago. The only Elder Scrolls game, though, that I've really played, though, is Skyrim. And I feel disingenuous saying that because, like, Skyrim is such a huge part of, like, that game was, like, that's the reason why I cracked my top 5, because I made so many videos for Skyrim, like, throughout high school and even, like, the first half of my college, like, experience. I had 2, like, Skyrim Let's Plays on my channel back in the day, and like I said, I have Skyrim to thank for inspiring me to write fantasy too, and like, I just love the Elder Scrolls, the world, and like, I even bought my friend Mark an Elder Scrolls cookbook for his birthday a few years ago. And just Oblivion, I've heard like some old time like Elder Scrolls fans tell me that Oblivion is even better than Skyrim. So instead of like remastering Skyrim for a third time, Bethesda, like you guys should really consider like remastering Oblivion. How sick would it be if like when Elder Scrolls 6 eventually comes around? I understand that Elder Scrolls 5, Elder Scrolls Online was really popular at one point, but when a proper Elder Scrolls 6 comes around, imagine they did a bundle with Elder Scrolls 6 and a remastered version of Oblivion. That would be so cool. For like the Series X or the PS5, I would so buy that. But yeah, there you guys have it. Those are the 9 games I have not played yet, but would like to. Do you guys have any suggestions? Like, if it's like, hey, if you haven't played this game, like, you should play, like, blah, blah, blah in the comments. Like, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, subscribe to this channel, please. You guys have a good night, and stay beastly.